Welcome to the Hen House Podcast, where mothers rise together in authentic conversation and sacred connection. With your hosts, Chantal Breanne and Andrea Sjoeberg. It's time to jump into the Hen House.
Hello and welcome back to the Hen House Podcast. I'm really excited you're here. So I want to kind of bounce off of something that Chantal said in an earlier episode a little bit and talk about what I believe, where am I going? So the sacredness of the mother-child relationship. So recently I had someone say to me, they said, the baby didn't feel the stress. It was only you that was stressed. Or, she's not going to remember this, so it can't be stressful for her. And I have my baby on the floor here beside me, which is why I'm looking to the left sometimes. But I'm just sitting here going, like, the connection is so strong between a pregnant mom and their baby and a new mom and their baby that anything that stresses mom stresses baby. And I think this is really important for all of us to begin to change the narrative and change the way in which we interact with soon-to-be and new moms, because every stress that she feels, I believe, is also affecting the baby, or certainly can highly affect the baby. And it does even show up in textbooks and in research articles and things like that, this emotional stress of mom and how it can lead to additional complications for baby. So this is not, this isn't a super fringe kind of theory. This is pretty well known. And so I think it falls on all of us, and especially on us as women, as we are interacting with other moms and other soon-to-be moms, to be very conscious and aware of how we are showing up for her. So one example, and I've seen this online quite a bit, is this idea of, oh, I'm here to help you. I'm going to do all of these things. Yet maybe that's stressful for her. Maybe that's not actually helpful for her. And so I think that so within coaching, there's this philosophy of, I have a thought, I have an intuition, I have something I want to say. Is this something that you are open and want to hear? And I think this is something really important to remember, especially when we're dealing with this very sacred and pivotal point in time of both mom and baby's life, pregnancy, and kind of, I would argue, months postpartum. Postpartum, it's not the sensitive period doesn't just end at 2 weeks or 1 week or 5 days or 6 weeks or whatever. With the hormones and all of that, I really think we need to pay attention to that whole first year postpartum as we're really honoring the bonding time and this increasing bond, and as these new parents are navigating things and getting the hang of it, and to really pause and say, I have a thought, I have an experience, I have knowledge that I have it in my head that I would maybe like to share with you. Is that something that you would like to hear? Are you in a place right now where you can hear that and where it would be helpful to you, as opposed to me just dumping it on you when maybe she's already really overwhelmed and not ready for that right then. And it doesn't mean that she doesn't want your advice or doesn't respect you. I think it may just be that she's not in a place right then to be able to easily receive any additional information. And so that's one thing. And then with help, sometimes I think also it's great to want to help. And it really, I think, depends on the person and the relationship. Some will say, yeah, just go do whatever you want. It's great. And others, I think it can be beneficial to say, if I did this, would that be helpful? Or how can I help you? What would be most helpful for me to be able to do? And I think things like this to begin to shift that is really important. And just to remember that if mom is stressed, most likely baby is also stressed. And we really don't need to be stressing either of them. Um I think to really shift and say this isn't about me. This is about her and them and this new family unit that has been born as the baby's been born. And this is about mom and dad, the birth of parents as they're figuring things out and learning how to be fierce and how to protect and how to really trust their intuition. And all of this is this very beautiful, sensitive, wonderful process. And to me, this time is one, I think it can be vulnerable. People can be in a very vulnerable state in this time. But two, I think it's sacred. This bond between mom and baby, according to me, is sacred. It's so beautiful. It's so important. There's so much that goes into that that benefits this child for their lifetime and for years and years down the road. It benefits them so much. And so there's just, it's so easy as when we're not the new mom to make it all about us and all about like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited for the baby. I'm so excited for you. Here, let me um give you this information. Or like as an example, I had a client, it was many years ago, and I had asked someone else to give her like a mother to mother blessing. Just and I in my head it was just going to be a quick blessing kind of thing. Just I thought it would be a really sweet kind of thing. What ended up happening was it ended up being like an information dump, which was extraordinarily overwhelming for the soon to be mom. And so again, I think it's a reminder to really step back and say this is a vulnerable time for mom. There's more fragility, perhaps mentally and emotionally and hormonally. There's a lot happening, and there's a lot that rides on moms because there's so much pressure to do everything right, because so much of baby's well-being has to do with mom and how she manages things and her nutrition and all of this. And what she does is so important. And that's why as her community, the rest of us really need to step up and I think begin to transform the conversation into something that is really supportive, that really says, okay, this isn't about me. How can I support her? How can I be sensitive that she may be getting overwhelmed, that she may not be in a place this particular moment to hear what I want to say? And maybe she never will be, and maybe she will be in 10 minutes or 3 days or whatever, right? And that's okay. And to really honor this bonding time, and that we really are supporting, especially in those, it's not just about the golden hour of, okay, mom, you get your baby skin on skin for 1 hour and off we go, life as usual. No, it's this whole process of getting to know one another, of soaking it all in. It's in an ideal world so much more than simply an hour. It's days and weeks and months of getting to know this little human and getting to know your body in the new way that your body is. And it's this very, to me, pregnancy and postpartum are this time that need to be protected and encouraged and supported, but in this gentle, loving bubble. Like, it's okay as a community to create this beautiful bubble that mom and baby get to, and dad too, but more so mom and baby, especially initially, that they get to live in, that they get to heal in, that they get to recover in, that they get to bond in, that it's respected. There's, um, I think societally speaking, we could do with having a lot more reverence and respect for this part of the journey. And to say, let's, for starters, let's stop blaming mom for everything that happens. So much, yes, is about mom, but a lot also isn't. There's also the journey of the baby. There's the journey of the mom. There's so much happening, and most moms really do their best. And so I think there's a gentleness that needs to be brought to this part of the conversation, and a reverence for, and a deep respect for the process of bonding and what's happening, and for this budding relationship, and to really begin to up level the way that we think about this, so that we're no longer blaming mom for everything that happens. So we're no longer shaming mom for everything that happens. Oh, your body's broken. You would have never been able to do it. Like, or shushing mom and saying, sorry, I don't want to hear your experience. I'm over here stuck in mine, and I have no interest in hearing what your experience was, but I want to tell you what mine was. So why don't you sit and listen to us? Like, I think that I'm being a little hyperbolic here. However, I think that there's, those were things I experienced: blame, shame, shush, especially in regards to birth trauma. And I think that there needs to be a movement away from that. So much, this movement towards having much greater respect for this period of time and for what she's going through. And I think that that is a really, really powerful change, to let her be in her story and in her experience without making it wrong, without inserting all of our beliefs and opinions and everything onto her, but rather to let her sit in this beautiful time. So that is my thought. Thank you for joining me, and we will see you soon.